Hey, welcome back. Together, connect, create. I'm your host, Megan Schultz, and this is the podcast where week after week I look to bring you interesting conversations, challenges, ideas, and ways that you might be able to gather, connect, and create wherever you find yourself and whoever you find yourself with. Not always easy are the ideas that I propose, but I think they're necessary so that we can come out of our silos and make this world a better, more joyful place for all of us. Today on the podcast was going to be the season finale, and I have that all queued up for next week, but I realized as of Monday, June 1st, it has been exactly 12 months that I have been off social media. And by social media, I mean Instagram and Facebook. Those were the two that I was completely absorbed in, and I just wanted to let go. If you missed me gearing up for that, you can go back to the episodes last May where I talked with my friend and psychologist, addiction specialist, digital harm reduction expert, Tekla Brumder-Ross. And we talked all about how I was going to give it up for just the month of June. That's all I had intended, because I felt like I was tethered to my phone. My kids were noticing it. My kids were mentioning it to me. They didn't like it. I didn't like how it felt. I was tired of doom scrolling. And so she helped me gear up for that month offline, or off the socials, I should say. We talked about things I could expect, how I could handle those, what the reentry might look like if I decided to come back. But July 1st rolled around and I really didn't feel like it, so I just challenged myself to another month. And then August 1st rolled around, and then September 1st. And here we are back at June 1st, and I still have not gone on. I'll say that I probably have popped on, I would guess, under a dozen times if I had to put a number on it, because maybe I needed some piece of information that I could only get online, or I needed to check something for school, for my kids' school that was only to be found on the school's Facebook page, or the day after my birthday, just to see if there were any birthday messages. So there were, like I said, a dozen or less, I would say, times of popping on to connect somehow. But apart from that, I took it off my phone, I disconnected it on my computer, I took off all the saved passwords so that even if I did have to get on, it would be a real pain. And so I wanted to come on today just to share a few of the things that I have been noticing since being off the socials, things that I've learned, things that I'm grateful for, things that I've missed. And I thought I would share that before I wrap up season 9. So that if you are thinking of possibly taking a little bit of time off the socials this summer, if you are wanting to focus on the here and now and not what's happening or what the algorithm is presenting to you, and this gives you a little nudge, then there you go. I would love to have you join me. All right. Number 1, I will say, is that FOMO is real. That was one of my big concerns of getting off, was the fear of missing out. So it's real, but it's not paralyzing. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's been a case of you don't know what you don't know. And so have I missed things like births, deaths, diagnoses, new jobs, people moving? I think so. I know so. But the ones that I know I've missed, I've also found out about through different ways, through different channels, right? Because the people who are important to me are somehow going to let me know, or I'm going to find out through other family members or friends, and I'm going to be there. I mentioned I logged on the day after my 50th birthday last September because I thought, oh, that's a doozy of a birthday. There'll probably be some messages. And there were, the usual smattering of messages, but I think I had been gone for so long that the people who know me well knew to wish me a happy birthday by text or by calling or by sending a card. And I found that the messages that I got were from people. I had somebody that I had been colleagues with back in 2008, some very distant family members who I hardly ever talked to, some people that I went to high school with. And don't get me wrong, that was lovely. It was nice to see birthday messages, but I found myself feeling like that wasn't quite worth logging on for and messing up my streak of staying off the socials. Not a big deal. So I guess that would be number one. The FOMO's real, but it's not as big a deal as you might expect. The second thing is, I will say that I thought that giving up Facebook and Instagram would mean I would not be tethered to my phone any longer. And sadly, that is simply not the case. If you look at my daily screen time numbers before I started this and then after or now, it's still the same. So I have replaced Facebook and Instagram, probably if I had to guess, with mail and checking emails and Substacks. I've signed up for a lot of Substack newsletters. But also, I probably spend more time listening to podcasts and reading long-form articles on the New York Times or the Atlantic. But it's a cue to me, the fact that my time is staying the same, it's a cue to me that I still have things to work on. So that's another point of data, as my friend Tekla would like to say. All data is good data. So I'm going to take that. The third thing I will say is that I have probably deepened my own creative practices, which has been so much fun. I've made a batch of greeting cards. I've taken a soul collage class with my friend Andrea and made a whole deck of soul collage cards. I have watercolored more. I've definitely done a lot more writing, and that has been so fun. I've also taken an interest in things outside of my creative practice. So I've gotten more involved in a board that I'm on and done some fundraising for things that I care about. And I've gotten more involved in the community, which also feels really good. So I would say that it's freed up more time to do things. And I think I can say I found that I have more to write about because I am actually living more. So instead of scrolling and comparing and doing all the things that you do when you're on the socials, I have gotten out. And so I have more to write about because I'm doing things. And that whole idea of action begets action, I think that has been motivating as well. So once you free up the time that you would have spent scrolling, you have more time to do. And so that has been a joy. I will also say, and maybe this is number 4, that stepping away from socials and that FOMO and the comparison and the kind of hustle culture that comes with being a little bit of an entrepreneur, if you will, it's given me more courage because I'm not looking at what other people are doing or how they're doing it and saying to myself, oh, I could never do that. They're already doing it. They're doing it better. It's kind of brought my world smaller in a way, which is a beautiful thing. In what used to feel too big, too overwhelming, it feels much more manageable. And so I feel like it's given me more courage just to try things. And so I've had a chance to experiment with things I wanted to do forever. So women's circles, I've hosted 3 of those, 3 6-week sessions for 3 different groups of women at my house. And it was perhaps one of the most joyful things I've done in a long time. And it's given me the impetus to keep going. So I appreciate that I'm not looking at how other people are doing it, getting all those advertisements put in front of me of how to make a 6-figure business if only you do this, this, and this. If you buy my program, no. I don't have any of that. I've just got myself and my ideas and nothing to compare them to. I mean, not nothing. It's still, the hustle culture is still there on a local level, I suppose, but I'm just not buying into it, which feels really spacious. So maybe number 5 would just be that sense of spaciousness and that peaceful, kind of deep breath, letting go of the anxiety of competition and comparison that is just gone. If anything, I feel more in community with people who are doing things that I'm doing, and I've been able to be so much more intentional about the people I'm drawing to me and the people I'm wanting to collaborate with. And I've had so many beautiful collaborations over the course of the last year, whether that is new friends, whether it's new opportunities to do things I love, like my collaboration with Megan Bolin of Juniper Trails and the Forest Walk and Writing Circle that we ran together and are planning to do a few more of this summer. So make sure you're on my mailing list so you can find out when those are coming, because they are coming later this month in June and one in July. I guess it just feels like a more open energy that I'm putting out into the world and therefore maybe attracting. Who knows? But it feels so much, the energy feels like it's looking upward and outward as opposed to down and in, which just feels expansive. Another one, I've lost track of what number I'm on at this point, but I have definitely bought less crap. I don't have all the feeds coming to me and all the advertisements and all the lotions and creams and pants that hold my tummy in and all the stuff that I probably would have bought. Yeah, I spent less money. That might just be a side bonus. I can also, hand on heart, say to my kids, I'm not on social media anymore. Yes, I'm still on my phone. They are calling me on it. Believe me, day and night, they like to call me on it. When they see me on my phone or when I'm choosing my phone over them, which I'm really trying not to do, but I do because I'm human. But it's not for social media. So I feel better. Not that we're quite there yet, but if and when they ask for their turn, I can hand on heart say, I'm not on it, and here are some of the benefits of that and why I'm going to not give permission right when you ask. I'm sure it will come eventually if it must, but I like that they're not seeing me on it. It feels like a tiny step in the right direction of trying to get away from the do as I say, not as I do attitude that I have been approaching it with in the past. And lastly, I will just say that I have replaced some of the screen time that went to Instagram and Facebook with other screen time things. Probably a lot more texting, probably a lot more voice memos, which I feel okay about. I love voice memos. Go back and listen to my conversation with Angie Wiseman back in January, all about our voice memo friendship. But I have also replaced that time with other rituals, with my morning hour and a half, if on a good morning, before anybody else wakes up in the house. My writing rituals. I found more poets that I love to follow and write along with. I still do my wild writing practice with Lori Wagner. And if you're curious about what that is, you can go back and listen to my interview with Lori. She is my writing mentor and teacher out in the Bay Area. I have been trying to do more sits, as Kat Zilka of Disconnect calls them when she works with her teens, and she asks them just to sit, not to meditate, not to try to be doing anything or thinking a certain way, or no guided visualizations, just sitting still for 5 minutes. I'm trying to do that. So being off socials has opened up more space to try new rituals and to add just tiny micro rituals into my morning that make waking up so enjoyable. So I just wanted to share some of the benefits that I have seen from giving up the socials. Not to pat myself on the back, not so I get any kudos or congratulations, but if you're on the fence, if you're thinking, should I do it? Is it worth it? Could I do it? Could I take it off my phone this summer and just try to be a little more present with my kids or my partner or my loved ones or my pets or whatever? And these lessons that I've learned could be that nudge that pushes you over the edge to try it. That is what I am hoping for with today's podcast. And if you do, please let me know. I would happily make a note of it and check in with you at the end of summer and see how you're doing. Heck, maybe if there are a lot of us, we could even do some kind of support group. We will have one in person if you're local to Milwaukee coming up this Sunday, June 7th, over at Moving Galaxy at 6:30 p.m. We have this connection coalition going between Disconnect, Reconnect, our digital literacy committee at our school, and parents from other schools, although it's open to anyone who's interested in focusing on their own attention and being intentional with that attention. So we're calling it the Lazy Book Club because you don't have to read. You can just show up and we'll read a snippet from the book and then chat, part support group, part book club. But a great way to connect with like-minded people if this is where your mind is at for the summer. I'll put links to that in the show notes as well if you're local and want to join us. But let me know. I would love to know if this is something that you are trying over the summer so that I can support you from afar. I told you what I did off the screens or off the socials, but what would you do? That's my challenge to you. If you had all that time back, what would your creative projects be? What would your passion projects be? What would you have more time for that's important to you? I can hand on heart say that I am so happy that I have been doing this. It has made a difference. And I still have a long way to go. There are still things that I need to work on, that I want to work on, that I am determined to work on this summer so that I can create even more space for the things that are really important to me. All right, I will be back next week with the season finale where you can hear all about what I do plan to work on this summer. Can't wait to share it with you. Until then, be well.